Hey, hi. Okay, I just want to continue a bit on this week's market review. Um, I just wanted to share with you this company that is called the Honest Company. It's owned by Jessica Alba. I think you all know who is Jessica Alba, right? The famous Hollywood star. She sells hand sanitizers and diapers and all that. The Q4 results just came out, and the shares dropped, um, yeah, dropped a lot, around like nearly to 20%. So because of as you know, all these new startup, low market cap companies like this one, 426 million, no PE ratio. It's very brutal, as you know, in a very risk-on environment right now in the market. Only profitable companies, even if you're not, you have to really show that you have um, every quarter to quarter basis, at least 20% and above kind of growth, which shows that with that growth trajectory, right, you can actually through the shorter period of time, maybe a year or two, start to have that break even point and start to make profit. So Honest Company didn't really manage to show that. So it's it was a brutal bashing for them, as also sanitizer and all that. It's if you look at the shares of Clorox as well, it has gone down quite bad, for the last couple of months. Um, so so this is take note if you are looking for companies that are, how to say, uh, you know post COVID, what kind of looking at the macro trend, sometimes the direct correlation is there. Even established company like Clorox, the shares actually dropped from 186 all the way down to 127. So imagine if you hold shares around 170, right? You're looking at around like about 30% or 20% down, which is can be quite bad for your stock portfolio. So it's always important to remain nimble, and if you need to change position even because you find that the fundamental of the company has dropped, by all means do that. Reshuffle your portfolio. So number three is Amazon completes purchase of MGM. So this is something that I think they have gotten the approval from this regulatory approval as well. So the purchase was actually done last year, but it was subject to approval by Europe regulatory department and all that. So this is probably a good potential for one of the Amazon's business. Of course, you got Kindle, the reading the books. They got Amazon Prime, which is the video streaming, and got Amazon and the retail, and Rivian, the EV companies, and they have their space technology company as well. So, but for me, among the FANG stocks, I would personally still go for Google at this point in time, and maybe Apple as well. So so this is the kind of news that I'd like to just share a bit. The third one would be, I wanted to say, is about the war threat. I feel that generally there is de-escalating fears, which may be very good for the um, market in general. Of course, the shorter the war, the better things becomes. The market will definitely have now currently has priced in quite a lot of fear, in this war, that Russia may go after Poland or the non-NATO countries like Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, or Moldova. Even there were fears that some countries that are near to the Baltic Seas, which is Estonia as well, they are also quite afraid. And but Estonia is actually part of NATO, so this is kind of like a middle ground without at least Russia's ego is still intact. If Ukraine can be divided into two parts, maybe liberating the eastern side and give them independence uh, under a new name, like the Crimea country that happened many years ago. So this looks like a good sign. I think the NATO sanctions on Russia, which is a financial war on Russia, Cold War 2.0, right, is working well, without having to hold a gun and go to the battlefield. So while Russia is attacking Ukraine, Russia itself is uh, being invaded, by from all those financial sanctions. Yeah, just wanted to just quickly touch on this uh, another news, which is on the gas price, which actually they wanted Russia this week as well. They say that they don't no longer want to trade US dollars, accept US dollars for sale of their gas to the many parts of Europe. And I think it looks like the NATO is European countries, the members, will definitely comply. Um, so that actually causes a spike in the gas, um, uh, natural gas price chart. Actually, this is uh, I think the gas price and petrol price, oil price, usually they trend together. They will go up together, go down together. But this one of the few times that actually they go in different ways. Oil prices actually came down quite a lot, quite a bit, about 10%. But the gas price is actually up quite significant. You can see if you happen to buy, the 1 month chart, you can see has grown around 20 over percent. So yeah, so as you can see, these are the news that I think that you need to know. Honest companies, because of the Hollywood star, Amazon's completion of MGM, have a lot of content that it can immediately load onto the what do you call it? Amazon's Prime, the possible de-escalating threat on the war, and then the natural gas issue that is happening, and of course another news that's geopolitical. Um, so is the NATO meeting that happened this week as well, and they are as united as ever. Of course, there was an announcement that US will supply natural gas, which I think will constitute around 10%. Of course, how they're going to transport is another new. It's altogether something that they need to think of, because it's really not easy to transport natural gas other than pipes, using pipelines, like Keystone pipelines or the Russia to Central Europe pipelines. So they might buy some from Qatar as well. That's quite possible, because they're not very far off. And I think I will one day do a video about who are the actual beneficiary of this Russia and Ukraine war. For me, I think US and Canada would benefit the most, because they will be the substitute seller for oil, for gas, for wheat, for grain, for fertilizer, and all that, so that European Union, NATO members would end up buying more from US and Russia, Canada. So this would definitely benefit Canada and US, while shutting away Russia as the seller of all those things. As Canada and US, they really have a lot of natural resources, even metal as well, could be platinum and palladium, just that they haven't actually mined them, those resources, and because of environmental issues, that's what they have been importing. But I think bring back better America, kind of under the Biden presidency, one of their priorities was to actually to start back mining, and then to start back lithium mining, to start back rare earth mining and all that, because they felt that these are actually essential to their country's national interests. Not just always just buying cheap and buying cheap from other people, and then when you have like situation like COVID, you can't even manufacture mask or um, rubber gloves, on your own in your own country. What happen if there's going to be a war? Then you will not have all these factories ready and able and willing to start ASAP and produce things. So yeah, that's all for today. Thank you very much, and please click a like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks a lot.